Oh.
Today's letter comes to us from Wally in Walla Walla, Washington, and Wally writes, Dear Alfred, has any country ever built a warship so big that it sank immediately after it was launched? Well, Wally, as a matter of fact, there was such a ship. In 1628, Sweden was at war with Poland and Lithuania. Sweden's king, Gustav Adolphus II, ordered his Royal Navy to build a warship that would strike fear into the heart of his enemies. It was called Vassa. It was 111 feet long with one gun deck. But when Gustav found out that Denmark was building a ship with 2 gun decks, he had to have one also. However, this would have required building a brand new hull that was 135 feet long, and there just wasn't time to start over. So workers just simply added another gun deck. When the king decided he wanted more guns, the first version was only designed to carry 32 cannons. He ordered that number doubled. But Gustav wasn't done yet. He told his men to cover the ship with ornate oak carvings of biblical scenes. Finally, after a considerable delay, the massive warship was finished. On August 10th, 1628, a huge crowd cheered as Vassa left the quay and sailed out into Stockholm harbor on its maiden voyage. A few minutes later, a gust of wind pushed the top-heavy warship so far over to its port side that water poured in through its open gun ports. Vassa began to sink. Within minutes, the ship was on the seabed at a depth of 32 meters, where it remained for 333 years. Fortunately, all but 30 of its 300 officers and crew survived the disaster. The story has a happy ending, however. A virtual explosion of technology and interest after the turn of the 20th century brought shipwrecks and maritime archaeology into a professional and public spotlight. A wave of significant wreck discoveries followed shortly thereafter. In 1960, under the direction of George F. Bass, considered by many to be the father of underwater archaeology, the first scientific excavation of a shipwreck in its entirety from the seabed took place. A year later, the Vassa, intact but deteriorating after 3 1/3 centuries of submersion in salt water, broke the surface of Stockholm harbor. From its rediscovery in 1956 to its raising in 1961, an achievement few thought was possible, the effort to raise the Vassa became a national obsession in Sweden. The project was so dramatic and technically complex that it was called Sweden's Apollo program. Today, Swedes still remember where they were when the Vassa finally arose from the deep. The Vassa Museum has become a natural part of the Stockholm skyline. Its masts, rising high above the waterfront, have become a beacon guiding curious tourists and Stockholmers alike. But the Vassa has not always been housed in such splendor. When the Vassa Museum opened in 1990, the conservation of the ship and the tens of thousands of objects was thought to be finished. But in the following decades, an unexpected change occurred. The centuries-old wood developed white and yellow spots on the hull of the ship and its wooden artifacts. Chemists identified the particulates as highly acidic sulfur-iron compounds. Preservationists sought to arrest the decay by removing all the iron, a well-known catalyst for oxidation, from the ship. Additionally, efforts were made to better control the museum's internal climate. The ship's decades-long restoration became the poster child for the new discipline of underwater archaeology. The Vassa's restoration has yielded a treasure trove of artifacts which document not only the vessel, but the life and the lives lost aboard this ship during its brief career. If you have any questions for Alfred or Carl, please email them to militaryhistorychronicle@gmail.com. And for more information about the Vassa Museum, please check out the website below. Thank you. Until next time, good night.